You're listening to the Chartographers.
This is another beautiful day in paradise, folks.
Hello, everybody! You're listening to the Chartographers. It is a music-loving podcast for music-loving people where we take every single album by a particular artist and we rank it all from worst to first. It's a thing that we do, and we've been doing it for a hot little bit. And guys, we are continuing our journey through season 4, where we take on little idiosyncratic artists, different things, personal touches that we don't feel like would belong in a regular main full season. And as such, we've gone on journeys. And to everyone who's listened to season 4 so far, thank you so much. It's been extraordinary, the response we've received. So even more than that, though, we wanted to try something because, you know what? We've been doing this. We have over 47 artists that we've done so far, and none of them have even been close to the genre of country. And the thing is that there's a lot of great picks that we could do. I think there are ideas potentially in mind for like a Johnny Cash or a Dolly Parton or other ones to move on into the future. But right now, I wanted to pick one of my all-time favorite artists, someone who is country, but at the same time is largely ignored country and is ignored by country radio, which is very unfortunate and sad, and we will hopefully rectify some of that today by ranking the artist of one of the smoothest vocalists, one of the most stylish people that we know. That's right, guys, today we are ranking the one, the only, the best new artist of 2000 for some reason. Thank you, Grammys. That's right, guys, we're talking about Shelby Lynne! The sister of Alison Moore, if you're nasty. So, Shelby Lynne. She,
That's all you could come up with?
The thing, she doesn't really have any other alter egos or identities.
She's not Sasha Fierce.
No, she's... I would live to see that, though. I would live to see that. But more importantly, though, Shelby Lynne, she grew up, was born in Quantico in Virginia, and then spent a lot of her time growing up in Alabama. She has her sister, Alison Moore, who later went on to become a country artist as well. They lost both their parents when they were teenagers, and ultimately this is the journey that started Shelby Lynne going down and doing country. Started out with a George Jones duet that went into the top 50, that then led to her signed to Epic Records, which then led to her putting out other albums. But the thing is that early 90s, 80s country albums come of a very specific type, and there's a very specific style of production, and a very specific you're a diva and we're going to write all the songs for you, or pull from the Nashville Songwriting Factory, which she didn't really like. So ultimately she decided to mix things up, went with a smaller label, put out a swing album, and she's never been the biggest country, radio success story ever. But then around 1999 she came out with an album defiantly called I Am Shelby Lynne, kind of declaring, guess what everyone, I'm here. And it kind of shot her into the mainstream a little bit, which led to her run of going through different labels, trying out different styles, working with different producers, and it is epic, beyond belief. I can't believe we're talking about it. It's finally here. Who are the people that are going to be talking about her? Let me tell you. First off, there's me. I'm Evan Sadi. You might know me as the interview editor of Pop Matters. I also write for other places, but more importantly, 4 seasons in, guys, I hope you know me as the host of this podcast. I really, really do. Because if you know anything about the podcast, then you know the person sitting next to me, the Bill Bottel to my Shelby Lynne. That's right, guys. It is Taran O'Reilly!
Hello, everyone. I hope you kept up. Maybe try listening to the first 5 minutes of the episode on 0.75 speed. And then you can discern what just happened. I'm doing great.
Good.
How are you, Evan?
Good. Now, this is one where the thing is we kind of worked through and realized that I think going into this, you weren't sure if you had heard Shelby Lynne before.
No, so I knew that I had heard of her, and you had given me a couple songs on mix CDs at various points, but then once I actually started listening, I realized, oh yes, absolutely, my dad had a couple of these records, so there were a few songs on here that I knew very well because they were favorites of his, and so therefore, of course, there's a little bit of nostalgia goggles. And there's a few like 10 Rocks, for example. It's not necessarily my favorite song after listening this week and hearing the whole discography, but there's just so many memories there. It was just a really fun experience to dive in and rediscover that and hear some of the other experiments that she's done, and I'm excited to talk about it.
Great. Well, even more than that, I'm excited to talk about it with you, but I'm most excited for our guest.
Of course.
I've known him for years. He is a very, very good friend. And most importantly, we've done a lot of searching, and we have absolutely found one of the top 10 Shelby Lynne fans in the Chicagoland area. That's right, guys. Please welcome to the podcast, Nathan Dunbar!
Hello.
How you doing?
I am great. It's exciting to be here.
Yeah.
It's a heavy mantle to wear, top 10, but I will bear it well.
Yes.
Hopefully I can, rank high in the top 10. We'll see how that goes.
This podcast might move you up the rankings. You might be top 5 by the end of this.
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah. Now, you've had Shelby Lynne in your life for a while, right?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of my awareness of her began with I'm Shelby Lynne.
Uh-huh.
Kind of put her in the kind of the pop world, and she played in mainstream radio with "Gotta Get Back" was a very adult contemporary hit when it came out. So it's kind of how I became familiar with her, and I could begin following her. She did a couple guest spots on other people's records. She sang a song with Faith Hill on one of Faith Hill's records. So I've also been a country fan, ish for a while. So, and we will argue later about what genre I think she belongs in.
Okay.
But yes.
I'm very excited about that.
It's good, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, well, good, fantastic. We're happy to have you, and most importantly, we're going to have, of course, our arbitrary ranking of her discography, but the question of her discography is a little bit interesting, because technically she has, I believe, 14 albums. She has a lot of albums, is what I'm trying to say, especially if you count Merry Christmas, her 2010 Christmas record, which we will not. But most importantly, again, as we talked about earlier, her early career was very much spent as kind of like a product of the country music machine. So she really didn't start getting in songwriting credits until her 1995 effort, Restless, but that means Sunrise, Tough All Over, Soft Talk, and to a degree Temptation and Restless. They're all kind of part of this scene where she was basically part of it, grew up with it. She was always the most promising new talent. In 1991, I believe she won the Academy of Country Music Award for Most Promising New Vocalist or something like that. And it's just like great, but none of it really translated into radio hits or anything else like that. She's very much kind of a standard, like country, voice that you heard. And so as she took the reins of her career, and that's why in 1999, starting with I Am Shelby Lynne, she really launched herself into prominence. That's why she won the Grammy for Best New Artist, because, wow, we know who you are now, which is so funny because it was literally her 6th album that she won that on. So as such, for that reason, we are actually going to be talking about essentially modern Shelby. We will not be ranking, we've talked about this earlier beforehand, we're not going to be ranking her albums where other people wrote songs for her that she really doesn't like anyway, kind of her first 5, really.
Yeah, and I do still support that. It is sort of interesting, though, because you were the, person who really wanted to do this episode, and I was happy to, of course. And so you said that, and we were like, great. And then actually, listening this week, listening to a couple tracks from those records, it was like, oh, this sort of, more than, for example, early Michael Jackson or, some of the other people where we've cut out their early career. I felt sort of like, oh, this does sort of, still lend itself to the continuum of her career, her arc. But on the other hand, there is a big break between the two, and so it's we'll talk more about them later. But there are still some cool moments on there.
Right.
But I think to that point, most people are just so unfamiliar with the country albums. If we decide to rank those, they wouldn't really understand what that meant.
Right.
So I think it's fair to start with I'm Shelby Lynne, because that's when people begin to know who she was.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And the thing is that there's still some stuff to talk about on those records, but we'll get into that in a moment. And also, again, it's just kind of our tradition where we don't rank holiday albums, because what kind of monsters are we if we're going to be ranking holiday albums?
I mean, yeah, we don't do
hits beginning
novelty
exactly.
in general.
Come on.
Yeah.
Except from the time we did a Weird Al episode, which is one of our most played.
Why I was not there.
Alright, so that means the albums that we are going to be ranking are, of course, her big breakthrough, I Am Shelby Lynne from 1999, her turn towards pop in terms of Love Shelby in 2001, her self-produced, stripped-down Identity Crisis from 2003, her even more rootsy-tootsy Suit Yourself from 2005, her tribute to Dusty Springfield that was the Phil Ramone-produced Just a Little Lovin' from 2008, there was her self-release, forming her own record label, Tears, Lies, and Alibis, 2010, her Prince album, where she wrote, recorded, and played every instrument herself, Revelation Road from 2011, for the record sounds nothing like Prince. There is her live band recorded from the Floor album, I Can't Imagine, from 2015, and then there is her collaborative duets album with Alison Moore, No, Not Dark Yet, from 2017. So that is a good set of 9 albums, and I feel like one of the things there is not Dark Yet. It's that, well, Just the Lovin', I feel like, is something that absolutely is part of the conversation, because that is a very specific style that she's going for. She basically put out a jazz album on Lost Highway, which is a record label decently known for lots of alternative country artists as well. It was kind of a bold move for her to do.
I'm not sure jazz is the word I'd use, but anyway, continue.
Yeah, but still, like, it's very much a kind of a telegram from artist to influence. It's fascinating. While Not Dark Yet is a different beast altogether, because it's essentially the same thing, 9 cover songs and 1 original, but it's also a duets album with Alison Moorer as well, so it's kind of another covers album on there, but I think we're kind of leaning towards including it in terms of our ranking, because also I know Nathan has a lot of strong feelings about including it as well.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Yeah, very much so. So I'm looking forward to us getting there.
Okay,
yeah.
Fantastic. Well, in that case, that leaves us with 9 albums, 9 slots. Of course, this is a completely arbitrary, but still very fun. I'm very excited to talk about it, because there's a lot to get into. So most importantly, because we're all going to outvote each other, and it's going to be pleasant and fun and friendly, it still means that Nathan Dunbar, you are the special guest, so that means you get the unenviable task of slot number 9. In terms of 9 slots, Nathan, what would you describe as the least best Shelby Lynne album?
Thank you for not making me say worst.
Yes.
I just can't do it. I love Shelby so much.
Yeah.
It may surprise some, staunch Shelby fans. My number 9, I think, would be Identity Crisis.
Oh my god.
The faces, if you could see them.
Ooh.
It's a great album. I just think she got better. Well, there's some stunned silence here.
Yeah. Wow.
I just feel like she swung so 180 from everything else, and I get her intent, and obviously the title of the album. For me, I just feel like it was too stripped down, too raw, too bare, too just like there was not as much production value as other albums, of course, but you guys are just like these crazy faces. If you listeners, if you could see the faces,
I know. Well,
I had no idea how to get that reaction.
I think there's just I was just kind of working under the idea that there was kind of a Shelby consensus in terms of what is like kind of her up there albums, because like even for Pop Matters, I wrote the review for I Can't Imagine, and I didn't give it the strongest score in the world, but another critic wrote as like a take 2 that they did, and gave it a very strong score as well, which I'm like, that's fine. I understand she can be divisive on some of these albums here, but I just I was under the impression that Identity Crisis was considered one of the stronger ones, so to hear it out the gate as that's your nomination for the 9th slot is just very striking to me.
Yes.
Because I remember very specifically, I too was a very early fan of I Am Shelby Lynne. That's how I got on the train way back in 1999-2000. And the thing is, I remember Love Shelby, literally, that just kind of passed me by, and I didn't really hear it until this week, so I have a lot of strong thoughts about it. But the thing is, Identity Crisis absolutely sucked me into its world, because I remember from the very first song, when you hear Telephone, just this very stripped down, just like this, her vocal takes, her just this very easy breezy feel to it. I'm like, yes, this was just like this kind of like break that we needed from her kind of getting lost a little bit in the pop world.
Yeah, well, and Telephone's one of my favorite songs too of hers. So conversely, there's that, but I just feel like others, for me, it's all about opinion here and personal feelings. Were ranked higher.
Yeah. I can understand where you're coming from there, because for me, this is a very lopsided album. I really like the first half. I think Telephone's solid. 10 Rocks is like, okay, it's a gospel number.
Yeah. It's really groovy.
It's really groovy. Yeah. It's not, it doesn't do anything like too incredibly original, but it's pleasant and fun to listen to. I think If I Were Smart is a solid ballad. I think Gotta Be Better is like a nice little, like, because that one to me is not really stripped down at all. Like, there's still a lot going on there in the production. And then from there, for the most part, it just kind of falls into, and truly the title of the album, Identity Crisis. From there, she just is sort of, and even the songs I like are kind of this, she's just sort of trying on different hats. Like various different, like there's a blues song, and there is a classic country song, and there is like a sort of like almost 60s beachy song sort of. And so it's just sort of, and then even the ballads are very classic ballad structures. So while she doesn't like fail in any sense, especially the second half of the record, like Evil Man, Baby, One with the Sun, they all sort of feel like, you know, just sort of new
Genre
takes.
experiments.
Genre experiments.
Yeah.
And she doesn't do a ton new with them. So while I would definitely put Identity Crisis higher personally, I absolutely understand what you're saying, that it doesn't, like, there are big chunks of this album that don't do a ton for me.
Right. And I think if you look at it in chronology of her career, even the title to me feels a little obvious. Because it was right after I Love Shelby, which was her super poppy, super overproduced,
super ignored,
made for radio attempt, almost, which I kind of liked. I liked it. But like to your point, like Lonesome is a very, very country song.
Oh, and the harmonies on it are so good.
That's like pure Patsy Cline.
That's the one thing, like, throughout this whole week, every time there's like 3-part country harmonies, I'm like, sign me up. Like, on a lot of songs where I'm like, this is a pretty boring ballad. You know what would have helped?
3-part harmonies.
3-part harmonies. But if you just put that on the chorus, I'd be into it right now, and I'm just not.
Yeah. I just kind of like, it's mostly for me, like, I feel like she was obviously trying to strike out on her own, like totally on her own.
Right.
And really find herself. And I feel like that was overtly apparent on this. Not a bad thing, it's just, I think other albums, for me, are above that. And not that this is bad in any way.
Right.
That's why I said I struggle with worst to first terminology, and I told you that. I'm like, I can't do it.
Right, exactly. So therefore, you won't care if we outvote you on particular occasions.
And I still listen to it regularly.
Yeah.
It's just, I listen to other ones.
And for me, like, the thing is, she is, because she's not so adherent to genre, that's one of the strengths of I Am Shelby Lynne, is how, like, it's a country album technically, but it opens with this fucking big wall of sound blast of Your Last Vote. Like, it's just like, takes you away. And then for Identity Crisis, it is stripped down, but even when she gets to, like, Buttons and Bows, when it opens with that little striking...
Which is one of my favorite opening lines.
Exactly, yeah.
Your mama's a whore, your daddy's dead.
Your dad is dead, you know, and just like, it has this nice, easygoing vibe. It's still loosely country in that sense, too, but at the same time, I like that she's trying all the things. I have a very strong... affinity for Identity Crisis, so I would fight you on ranking it down this low. But since we're discussing it before we get to outvoting or anything else like that, I just want to know, Taran, what would you have dropped down in number 9?
So it's between 2.
Okay.
It's hard to say because somebody already said they loved this album, but mine would be Love Shelby.
Yes, Love Shelby, man.
And the thing about Love Shelby is that I actually do think there's a couple like really great songs on here. She hasn't put out any records where I'm just like, wow, this is total dog shit.
Yeah.
You know?
She didn't go full Jewel and go dance pop.
Like I really I actually think that Bend is pretty great. But I do think that same chord structure shows up elsewhere in her career and she does it slightly better. I do also think that, what was the other one?
Killing Kind?
Killing Kind is fine.
Okay.
That was a single.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Wasn't it on the Bridget Jones' Diary soundtrack or something?
Possibly. So with the video, she was like walking along the cliffs of Greece on those big white structures. I forget what city in Greece it is. Mykonos, maybe?
Yeah.
It was, again, produced for the masses.
Yes.
Which I feel in Shelby's heart was like, oh, I gotta get out of this. This is not who I am.
Yeah, because also I know Wall in Your Heart was used very prominently in the movie Shallow Hal as
and she still performs Try Playing Napoleon in her concerts.
Yeah, on her Live at McCabe's album, she does an acoustic rendition of that.
There's some stuff she likes on this.
Yeah.
So.
I
also think she would agree with you, too. That she would probably rank this one her least favorite.
Yeah.
If you ask her.
I do like Ain't It the Truth also, if you get past the roses are red, which is something you have to get past. But I think the outro of it almost makes me think of like Beatles' A Day in the Life, or like it swells and becomes sort of cacophonous, and like it's like strings and trumpets and it's pleasant, but like they're sort of fighting each other, and I just think it's a sort of cacophony that you don't see anywhere else in her career. So I don't know. I thought that number was really fascinating. But other than that, there's just a lot of really produced moments.
Hate Love Shelby, and I'm so sorry, Nathan. I know you're a guest, and I'm
well, this is all what you love and what you don't.
Exactly, and Jesus Christ, it's one of those things where it's just because the thing is that Bill Bertel produced I Am Shelby Lynne. He was the person who produced Tuesday Night Music Club by Sheryl Crow, kind of her big debut, and so there's this very big warm sound to it. Her songs are fantastic on there. The production, I think, really opens that album up. And here she worked with Glenn Ballard, who is probably most famous for producing Jagged Little Pill by Alanis Morissette. So as such, a very different style, but honestly, it's pop to just the limits of point where we love pop music, and it just feels so disingenuous because I can't believe that Shelby Lynne, a writer as good as Shelby Lynne, would write a fucking song like Jesus on a Greyhound. It's so utterly, just atrociously, obviously, we're not only going to get the country artists, we're going to get the Christian right on it too. It's kind of this faux inspirational ballad that I just can't get behind. And worst of all is, trust me, the opening of the album where you have this kind of strummed acoustic thing and just she does the spoken word intro where you're hope, dreams, and then later on, let me take you to a place where truth talks back. What the fuck are you talking about, Shelby? My God.
Well, you know what this album reminds me of?
What?
American Life by Madonna. Just that sort of
acoustic
early 2000s. Just there's some spoken word bits, and then there's and it's just that I think part of why this album bugs me is not because Jesus on a Greyhound is terrible, but even the rest of it is
it's Nathan's favorite song.
It's not.
I have a story.
Bad. Okay. It's not bad. It's just that it's dated. Mm-hmm. It's dated in a way that nothing else in her career is. In that the production choices that are very late 90s on I Am Shelby Lynne still feel in that sort of nebulous place outside of time and genre. Okay. Because she and then later in her career, you have a lot of just good, solid guitar and vocal songs, and that, that could come out at any time, whereas, Love Shelby really, really sounds like 2001, to its detriment when compared to the rest of the discography.
All right. Well, we're 22 minutes in, and we don't have a ranking as of yet, so I feel like we should maybe entertain either other nominations or we should talk a little bit more. Because the thing is that, I have a strong feeling for Identity Crisis. I still understand why you put it here. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with it not being number one necessarily. I just feel like there's other albums, especially when you're talking about that stripped down aesthetic of hers. I'm surprised that you would pick that as her lowest ranked and not something like Tears, Lies, and Alibis. Because that's another one where I feel like it's a good album. It is extremely front-loaded at the same time.
Right.
I love it when she gets in, because I'm not necessarily nominating it. I'm just kind of putting it out there as kind of a feeler to see other common ground. Because we can't outvote. I don't want to outvote, but yeah.
Well, I think I probably has been established that I am, which is fine.
Very fair, very fair. Right,
is this a democracy? I guess we're voting. So, which is fine. I think it's all.
What strikes you about Love Shelby that's so resonant?
I think it's also nostalgia for me because I played it so much. When it came out, it was on my radio. I played it in my car a ton because I just found it pretty groovy. And I think you made a great point. It is a very 2001 sounding album. And thinking about her, her career with that complete turning point with her Grammy win. Strike While the Iron's Hot.
Yes.
Let's keep going with this because people liked it. She won an award. Let's give it one more pop album, which I'm going to make a broad assumption she probably acquiesced to because she wanted to further her career, but then realized this is not me, and so wanted to swing the complete opposite direction and go Identity Crisis, which again is a great album. It is just my least best
out of the one. Okay.
Yeah, so I there's absolute value to it. There's absolute total merit to it. The songwriting, the performances, and her vocal ability, I think, is unrivaled in today. To watch her perform, no earpieces, nothing. It's just her singing, never off pitch, never off key. I think this album feels like it could have been a live album the way it sounds.
Okay. But a little spoiler alert for our listeners. Before we went on mic, Nathan revealed to us he's seen her live 3 times. So he has a very strong connection to her in that sense of seeing these songs done. I read a review literally just today going into it where I talked about, someone mentioned that one of Shelby Lynne's strengths is that she never oversings. And I hadn't really I'm not sure if I fully agree with it, but I can see why that point would be made.
I think that's another reason why Love Shelby bugs me a little bit, because it's the only time I hear her over singing. I hear her
like
shout.
on Jesus on a Greyhound.
I hear her
That
shout
chorus.
singing a little
Yeah.
bit, and I have to blame the producer. And because I know that he did Alanis, and that's kind of such a huge part of Alanis's brand. And so then it makes me feel like, while they were in the studio, he would go, that was great, but do it again and try just giving me a little more power behind it. You know what I mean? And of course, as a producer, he has a say in which takes get chosen. Of course, she has a say in that too. But it's the only time you see it.
Yeah.
And so whenever there's something like that, and it's like that's the only time she worked with that producer, it's easy to blame it on that circumstance,
Well, just on a Greyhound, my one thought on
Yes.
that, I mean, it's I can see why there's such an aversion to it. It's very like pandering to the Christian right. I don't think that was her intent when she wrote it. I think it was just.
I would agree.
There's a lot of talk. There's even a song about when, quote, I'm making air quotes for the listeners here, when Jesus comes back, we'll probably put him in an insane asylum because we think he's a crazy person. So there's a song called "What If Jesus Came Back Like That," a country song. I forget who sings it. Somebody on listening will.
There's also "What If God Was One of Us" by Joan Osborne back in the day.
Well, anyway.
What if God? Oh, sorry.
Well, I think that's also because it's been done.
Yeah.
It had been done a couple times
Yeah,
in this
so
era.
I feel like that song would make a great book. If you wrote this book about Jesus coming back and people not knowing who he is and he's a stranger who could make things happen on a bus with you or whatever the situation may be, but I feel like it was a little pandering to get her country fans still on her side.
Jesus on a Greyhound, a Nathan Dunbar mystery.
I think again my not ranking it last is just my nostalgic love for listening to it so much when it came out. I just really enjoyed the album for its pop value.
Yeah,
it made me happy to hear it. So
cool. Well, I think that just for the sake of moving the podcast along, I think Taran, we will agree in voting Love Shelby at number 9. And again, the thing I love though is that we are still. I would say Taran and I are much more pop oriented people. I feel like you're much more of a country that is a larger knowledge base as well. And I think this is good for podcast listeners too, because when people think about Shelby Lynne, there are going to be differing opinions of what her career is. Her career is so diverse and wild and fascinating that I'm excited to see what you, Nathan, because I've kind of thrown a couple things out there, but I just kind of see what you would potentially put as the album right after that, at number 8.
Would be Love Shelby.
Oh!
Yes.
Well, I thought...
Dude, I thought that you were saying it was like your favorite.
No,
favorite.
God damn it!
No, I didn't say I said I like it. I say I love it so much. It's number 1. It's just not my least favorite.
Jesus
that's
Christ.
so funny.
Yes.
Okay, great.
All right, cool.
So conversely, like calling, everything you guys just pointed out.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like tiptoeing around like, this is his favorite album.
No,
of
it's
all.
not.
Okay.
Not anywhere close to number 1.
Jesus
I
Christ.
like it. No.
Don't do that to me
You
ever
said
again.
before we got on mic that you really liked Love Shelby, and
I
me
do.
and everyone were both like, "Oh no!"
I do. I like them all. I'm just, and maybe I'm a little too impartial to her stuff, but I have a hard time picking a best to least.
Sure.
So, but I can do it. I have made myself think about
Great.
this.
Well, and you've already thrown Identity Crisis out there as a nomination. I would like to officially throw out Tears, Lies, and Alibis as my number 8 pick.
Okay.
So I'm mostly fine with that. I had this like maybe 2 spots higher. I really like the song Alibi.
Yes.
That might actually be like
One of my top 10.
Like in my top 3.
Oh.
Like her vocal take on it, it's just so gorgeous. And then there's nothing else on this album that even comes close. Lover Dreamer is like nice.
Dreamer.
That's
Loser
literally.
Dreamer,
And Rains Came.
Yeah.
Yes.
Loser Dreamer. Sorry.
Yeah.
I like specifically the woodwinds that come in on Rains Came. I think it's a really nice effect, and it elevates the song
It's
a
such an
lot.
upbeat song about depression. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, even Why Didn't You Call Me, which jumps right in afterwards, this 1 minute 40
I love
seconds.
that song so much.
She has great songs about telephone calls. She really does.
Yes.
Like across her discography. That one, the thing is, I love it. It's less than 2 minutes. It just gets in, gets out, does its thing. It's just such a simple, sweet little pop
performs
joy.
in her shows.
Yeah.
She loves it too.
Oh,
It's a delicious little song, a little piece of candy.
yeah.
On the flip side,
Yeah.
something to be said about Airstreams. Is there?
Well, I know.
Does she in fact actually say anything about Airstreams in the song?
It's metaphorical, but I'm still not quite sure for what.
Right, I know. And even when I interviewed her, because I interviewed her around the time of this album, and I
partner did as well for this album.
You did?
Yes, he
wow.
did too. Yeah.
Okay, what was that for?
He used to write for music magazines. I forget which publication back in Nashville. He also interviewed her for Tears, Lies, and Alibis.
Oh, nice.
So pretty cool.
Yeah, the little connection that we
Yes.
have here. But when I spoke about it, like she talked about, I talked about the subjects of her songs, how like it feels like heartbreak is the thing that runs through her discography.
It is.
And she kind of talked about how yes, but she wouldn't talk about the inspirations of any of these songs. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But she just said that I'm a private person. I have a private life. And end of story. Like, she just kind of cuts it off right there. Which I thought was very interesting. She said, I guess I'll just be writing songs about Airstreams at one point. So, I think she's probably proud of that, but I just don't know why. Because the thing is that, honestly, Old Number 7, this kind of, very low, slow whiskey lament that goes on, I dig it. I understand its inspirations there, but ultimately the rest of this album, it's fine. I enjoy the start of it. I'm glad that when she put out her own record label, when she's doing this as her own producer, that she makes some bold swings there. But it's, again, as with everything in her discography, I like parts of it. It's not my favorite. It's not the worst thing I've ever heard, though.
Well, see, I think, like I said, Identity Crisis was a complete swing away from her pop. This was another swing into her, completely owning everything about herself. And I think she did a better job with it here. Because it's all her. I agree, Alibi, just rips your heart out and stomps on it in a beautiful, wonderful, gorgeous ways.
The perspective which she's writing from
and
is
for
just,
respect for her privacy, she talks about, I'm not going to speculate what the song's about, but every time I imagine who is she singing that song to, I have thoughts that will not say because it's, I love Michelle Shelby and she's private, leave it that way, but I just want to cry for her because who is she the alibi for, and I agree totally. I'm glad you pointed it out. It's such a gorgeous, gorgeous song that I would be curious to see even somebody else do a take on it.
Yeah.
Even more of a country flavor than she did. Old Dog on this was very much a country song. I mean, Old Dog, come on. There's always, a dog dying or something. But this one I would solidly put fine 8 or 7.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Taran, what else would you have nominated in this slot?
I probably would have gone with I Can't Imagine. Which again, not a bad album, just an unremarkable album for me. My big takeaways were Sold the Devil, Sunshine has a really great groove, especially in the second half. Son of a Gun. So you're the grandson of a son of a gun?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Son of a son of a...
And I don't know, that was... Oh, and Be in the Now. I liked Be in the Now.
Oh.
It's a little jangly...
Yeah.
Positive. It's not amazing, but...
It's a plaque you hang on your wall.
Yeah.
A Live, Laugh, Love plaque.
It definitely, on the
Eat,
one
pray,
hand, I liked listening to it, but then when I really paid attention to the lyrics, I was like, okay, this is sort of hokey.
Yeah. Which is not a stance she usually takes, too. She's not usually that hokey.
Right, right.
Yeah. And the thing is, for me, I kind of agree. Back Door Front Porch, I kind of hate. Genuinely, because it's that drawn-out chorus there. But Soul the Devil, Sunshine, Son of a Gun, and honestly Down Here, because once it's yeah, in the country, then those group vocals come in, rolling down here, and then the electric guitars have a little bit of a feel to them. Okay, if you're gonna do an album where it's a live band, you're recording straight from the floor, that's the kind of vibe you want to get on there. I get it. That song feels absolutely appropriate for what she's trying to achieve with that. And then the rest of it, I can't imagine the title track is kind of a little bit of a takeaway from me, but the rest of it, I'm just kind of meh. It's one to have on, but I don't really pay that much attention to, because it's all the texture on this album. Unlike some of her other albums, which have very distinct textural tones, that one, I can't imagine, it's just kind of a glaze. It's just kind of one sound that she kind of has over it.
Well, and I do think that is partially the way it is recorded. There's a reason that you... closely mic every individual thing and do separate takes so that then, because the sonics that a human in the room is going to hear is not the same as what's going to come through the microphone to the headphones. Mm-hmm. And so there's a reason that mastering is such a huge part of the music industry, and even bedroom musicians master the individual tracks even if they don't know that that's what they're doing is called. So I think that there are probably songs that I would like more just if like specific elements were raised a little bit to like jump out and grab me
instead of kind of like immediate.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of just being like all in this mid-range.
Yeah. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I would put it as my number 7. I know we're jumping ahead here, but I agree in everything you guys have said. It feels, to me, it's almost like she's like, oh, it's been 4 years, better put an album out. You know?
Yeah, a little bit of an obligation.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I feel it's one of her stronger because of all of everything she had at hand and all the pieces and parts that she was in control of. I still placed it higher than the other two I gave ranking on. What was the one? Son of a gun.
Yeah.
I also didn't love Front Porch Back Door or whatever this song.
Yeah.
It's just, and probably the one I've listened to the least is this album.
Yeah.
So, and again, Shelby, not a bad album, just...
I know. So Shelby, if you're listening, we love you.
Yes.
Exactly. So, and the thing is that, like, I know that you put Identity Crisis down here. I'm not saying I'm going to fight for a little bit more on this one here, just in terms of rankings, but if we can go with I Can't Imagine at number 8, and would you feel the same about Tears, Lies, and Alibis at number 7? Or would you have...
I would flip those.
Oh, really?
I would put I Can't Imagine below Tears, Lies.
Oh, that's what I meant. Sorry. Yeah.
I would too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Then let's go ahead. Let's lock it in. I Can't Imagine at number 8, and then Tears, Lies at number 7.
That sounds good to me.
Okay.
That sounds fine.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, good.
I'm okay
good,
with
good,
that
good.
because like the bottom 4 to me are very interchangeable.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Exactly.
And
yeah.
I think we all could pick a different one that's kind of in that same little slush pile.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I wasn't sure because also I know there's some people that could very much feel like, oh, I Can't Imagine really has that Laurel Canyon, deep 60s kind of, rock folk sound that, a lot of people enjoy. Like, some people can really enjoy it. Obviously, one of the other critics I worked with at Pop Matters really enjoyed it as well, which I thought, okay, cool, whatever. But yeah, not my personal thing. But now that leads us into a very tight little thing because what we have left is I'm Shelby Lynne, Identity Crisis, Suit Yourself, Just a Little Love in Revelation Road, and Not Dark Yet. Nathan, what would you...
I mean, you already know what he wants next.
Identity Crisis, yes.
Well, yes, if we're going to put it at number 7, if it's not number 9... you guys want it higher.
Yeah.
I mean...
my number 7 is, I Can Imagine. But it's already been chosen as 8.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean...
It's hard because they're all good, so...
Yeah. It feels wrong to me to put Identity Crisis below...
Tears, Lies, and Alibis?
Like 3 more of these.
Well, then don't.
Yeah.
No. But that's not how it works.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I could be convinced... Because like I said, the back half is pretty weak, but...
Listen, you go ahead.
For me, up next would probably be Suit Yourself. Oh no! I hit a nerve with that one.
Oh. Okay. Walk us through what your feelings.
I think that it falls into a similar trap as the complaints that I had about, like, I Can't Imagine. Mostly just I Can't Imagine and, like, the back half of Identity Crisis, and that I don't hear a ton of newness to it, but then on the back half, there's some songs that I really, really like. I think Johnny Met June is, like... Again, like, easily top 20 of her tracks. I don't know if it's too much higher than that for me.
5.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That song is epic.
Yeah. I also think that her cover of Rainy Night in Georgia, which she just calls track 12 as like a bonus track on here, is like absolutely stunning. It's 7.5 minutes long, and I love it. Love it. Ice-T is like a fun little song.
Yeah.
Ice-T is one of her rare little feel-good songs. She's much about heartbreak, but that song was like, oh, that felt nice. I love that song.
Like actual Ice-T. Yes.
But then, again, other than that, it's just like a lot of... Okay, maybe I like this song a little more than I thought. or this album, because like I think I Cry Every Day is really good too.
There's times where I think it's hokey, but ultimately it just gets me every time, especially with the fake out ending that it has.
I Cry Every Day is hokey?
A little bit. Well, just because like that repetition of the I cry every day, like it's just like a little bit kind of like snappy. But
I
like,
think it works. It's happening every day.
I feel like with this album, it was one right after Identity Crisis. I feel like she figured a lot of stuff out. And I feel like this is where
like personal growth,
she planted herself, and she really kind of came into her definitive Shelby Lynne-ness.
Yes.
And I feel like this is where, I know who she is now. Wow. Okay, I get what she was saying. Everything. I think all the songs, the order of the songs is. Johnny McJune is one of the most unappreciated songs anybody's ever written. It's stellar.
Yeah.
I know it's only a minute long, but
You and Me
is so dumb.
I hate it. It really.
I hate it so
I understand,
much.
like, maybe it's more of like a reset button, like right in the middle of the album to things. But I just like
Who
for 59
cares?
seconds, I'm like, God, really? Like
that's definitely one where I'm like, as a writing exercise, sure.
Yeah.
As something you actually put out on your record, no,
Yeah.
absolutely
But for
not.
me, oh my God, like aside from the casual kind of conversations of go with it, like I love that lead into that so much. But honestly, Old Time's Sake really, really gets me. Like, it's an old school ballad, but it's just like, listen, you're leaving, honey, and so while, we used to have a thing, we don't anymore, but let's just, for old time's sake, let's just have this one last embrace, this one last slow dance, and it's just like, there's something so bittersweet about it that it's just so striking and just so gorgeous, and it envelops me. And that's what the thing where, like, because it has this kind of, like, it was literally recorded in a house, it's just like, there's this kind of like warm feeling to it. There's just kind of this like just pleasant glaze that goes over all of the songs. Because even when she talks about "You're the Man," how she's just kind of pointing out the hypocrisies of men in power, making sure poor people are bleeding from their eyeballs or eye sockets. Sorry, it's just striking. And I really enjoy this album like all the way through. So I can understand why you put it on here because I feel like it very much is almost a direct sequel to Identity Crisis. An album I still really like. But like, I see when you put it here, but I would disagree at this. I would slot. Too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it belongs higher.
What would you throw in its place?
Are we on 7 now?
6.
6. So I did
Identity Crisis. You keep asking it.
I know.
Exactly. I think that might be the place.
One.
Might be the place for Identity Crisis. I feel like we're.
Just because we've already outvoted you several times on this one here.
If we average out where all of our votes, it may come in at 6.
Okay, exactly. Yes. So, fans, I will say that we will go ahead and we will put in Identity Crisis at number 6. Taran feels weird about it.
I don't like it.
Okay, take it back. If we're gonna, we're talking. This is part of debate.
Yes.
Maybe Tears, Lies, and Alibis falls there. Identity Crisis.
It's already we
have
I'm so sorry.
At 9, we have I Can't Imagine at 8, we have Tears, Lies, and Alibis
at 7.
at 7.
I'm sorry. Gosh, there's so many to keep track of.
I know.
Which is a lovely thing to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. 6?
Identity Crisis?
Yeah. I think we can give that one. Taran still has issues.
Because he would put it at 9.
Yeah.
Where would you put it, Evan? Let's just spoil it since we're burying it.
I mean, what place would you put it?
Probably. I mean, I never have rankings going into this. I just go off gut emotion. But if I were to say top 3.
Okay. What about you?
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Probably top 3.
Yeah. So it's okay.
But this is halfway between.
We're at the halfway point. It's all good. So
yes.
Exactly. Number 9, Love Shelby. Number 8, Can't Imagine. Number 7, Tears Lies. Number 6, Identity Crisis. Leaving I am Shelby Lynne. Suit Yourself. Just Little Lovin'. Revelation Road. And Not Dark Yet is what we got left.
Yes.
So at this point, this gets really, really tricky now. And so I'm just going to throw something out there. Just to see. I just want to kind of play the room. Because any one of these albums, these are all very, very good albums, I would say. My nomination for the next slot would be Not Dark Yet. And the reason for that is that although it's one of those things where produced by Teddy Thompson, it has very much more kind of a lived-in rustic feel, and obviously her working with Allison is a very big deal to her. Because while she's guested on her albums before, they never recorded a full album together. Mm-hmm. And when they record together, they do nothing but covers, which I think is an interesting move because these are songs that they have a great affinity for, and at times I think the collaboration absolutely works. I like the original song they wrote on it here, Is It Too Much, that closing song, because it's dark and it's a little bit sinewy and there's weird textures going on. I dig it. I think their cover of Into My Arms by Nick Cave, I think that is
stunning.
Stellar.
Yes.
It is
so
truly
good.
stellar. But when we get to Their Nirvana cover,
Well,
I check out.
Lithium gives me anxiety to listen to, just because the harmonies are so all over the fucking place.
Yes.
I'm like, what chord are you on? What's going on? And I get that that's what, Kurt Cobain and Nirvana did. That was their sound. I don't know that could ever transpose into a different genre. It's just not made for that.
Right. I also feel like this is the one time where I was listening to this week where I was like, this could have used a little autotune. Like they're like on Lithium specifically, and of course they're singing Nirvana, so it makes sense. But that was the one time besides like on Love Shelby where I was like, this is strident. Mm-hmm. Like you are pushing this out of your throat, and it isn't sounding great.
I mean, for the Nirvana fans, imagine Kurt Cobain's like really raw, like forced,
completely
emotional vocals.
I understand why.
And someone trying to like beautifully harmonize that in the same chords and keys, and it just did not work. The rest of the album I loved. Also, her sister Allison just released her memoir called Blood,
and an album to go along with it.
Yes. So for people who aren't familiar with the book world, she probably began writing it when they set this album out. Mm-hmm. And so you think about that whole story, the two sisters coming together to make an album called Not Dark Yet. And if you don't know the story, their parents were murdered. So that kind of like ties into the Not Dark Yet, coming together, singing an album together, finally, her sister writing her memoir, which is now takes about 2 years for a book from writing to on the shelves to happen. Mm-hmm. So that kind of makes sense.
So you feel like in her writing process, she almost reached out to Shelby as a way to be like,
let's talk about the book when we write the story. Oh, let's sing an album together too.
Yeah.
Let's do some covers we like. Let's do some songs we like.
Except it opens with My List, like a Indescript Killers song. That one, like, is another one that doesn't do it for me.
See, I actually listened to not all of, but a couple of the like originals to sort of as to compare
what they're doing.
And oh my gosh, they improved My List so much. I mean, it really like, they transformed it into a country ballad, and with the harmonies they're doing, it's gorgeous. And then you listen to the original and it's just Brandon Flowers like whining over some bad synths. Yeah. And so
that's kind of their whole thing.
I mean, I know it's kind of their whole thing, but like it really was such a stark contrast that then it kind of made me like the cover even more, to be like, wow, you really like took this song and owned it and made it their own. And I also really like, and part of why I like that we're including this album is because I really can't tell their voices apart. I even listened to a couple Alison Moore songs just to like sort of see what she was about, and I was like, wow, it sounds a whole lot like Shelby Lynne.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's really fun because then it sort of just feels like
familial.
Yeah, it feels really familial. It feels like they're very connected, and they harmonize beautifully with each other to the extent that it sounds like Shelby multi-tracking herself, you know? And I'm sure that there are songs that Allison takes lead on, and I can't tell, and I kind of love that, you know?
Shelby, when she performs, she talks about Allison a great deal, and with a deep, deep love. Calls her Sissy in shows. If you listen to her she has a live album as well. I mean, she says Sissy. Shelby loves Allison so much and is so proud of her and wants her to be successful. So to know that you got that from listening is exactly what they both would have wanted the listener to get. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and I will say that although I'm nominating it here, and I still stand by that, the thing is there's still incredible moments here. And for me, honestly, the most striking one is Not Dark Yet, because melodically, I keep thinking it's going to turn into The Weight by the band. Take a load off and... it's like that same exact chord structure, but Not Dark Yet, but it's not dark yet. It's just so beautiful the way they do it. There's a little bit of kind of a dark cloud hanging over this album, but like one that they built, one that they have, created. And I do like that. So I
also just want to briefly mention, I'm looking for Blue Eyes. Has like some of the best vocals in her career.
Oh my God, you're kidding?
Yes.
Yes.
God, so gorgeous. And that's like so many of my favorite tracks from her are just like it starts, and for the first minute, I'm like, okay, it's a Shelby Lynne song. And then she just, like, gets up there and sings this gorgeous... And a lot of times, it doesn't even happen again. Like, so many songs I like, absolutely love, like, the middle 30 seconds, and then she doesn't bring that motif back, and then... Which sort of is perfect, because then I want to listen to the song again. I feel like she does that a ton, where it's just like, verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus, done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I would be fine with this album in this spot.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like that's a solid placement.
Mm-hmm.
It's again, I think it's a gorgeous album. One I listen to frequently, but this ranking I think is about right on where I'd put it as well. I agree there.
Would you feel? How do you feel that way?
Yeah.
Question mark.
Yeah.
He still wants Identity Crisis higher. I know.
I do still want Identity Crisis higher, and I also really would want Suit Yourself next.
And here's the thing: we're at that point where the thing is, if we lock in Not Dark Yet at number 5, which we actually just did, I'd say between I Am Shelby Lynne, Suit Yourself, Just a Little Lovin', and Revelation Road, might have some disagreement there.
No, this is going to be hard.
Yes,
I
absolutely agree. Because here's the thing, and I mean this going into this week, I liked Revelation Road, but this is the week that Revelation Road clicked for me in a big way. Because I remember just being like, okay, I didn't necessarily realize that she played every instrument on it, which kind of makes it the sonic aesthetic all the more impressive. Mm-hmm. But then realizing what she is doing, for someone who, quote, doesn't talk about themselves all that much, to put the details that she does into the lyrics of this album is stunning. Is actually stunning. And the fact that she's able to, in telling the story of growing up, in telling the story of her drunken dad shooting their mom in front of them before, before killing himself, and to put that in a song, and then to also even have a song called Even Angels, kind of this lighter, slightly buoyant, bluesy pop number in there, to make it all of that there and still work is stunning to me.
See, the thing is, but the thing about Even Angels is that, like, while the description you just gave it is not incorrect, the fact that it's on this album gives it such a more, like, depressing spin when you think about, like, the topic that she is covering over the course of this record, and you apply that to that song and the lyrics that it holds. It's, like, really, like, it really actually kind of gets to me. And that sort of overshadows any, like, minor hokiness that you might have in the subject matter, just because it's, like, it's such a devastating thing to cover.
Yeah.
Nathan has a lot of feelings.
No, this is about where I thought I'd be with my top 4, so, and this is going to be really, really hard to rank from here on, but we got to do it, so we're here for what the listeners want, so.
It's what they're demanding, basically. I just checked the tweets right now. They're talking about it.
Since we're talking about it, I'm just going to go ahead and say that this is where I would put Revelation Road.
Okay.
I think it's great. I think the opening track is fantastic.
Fucking one of her top 5 best, genuinely.
Okay. But it's really, really great, and it absolutely, like, I think it covers sonic and even melodic ground that you don't see a ton in her discography, and I think that's part of why it stands out so much, is because it's not like, a classic country song or a classic blues song. It really is stepping out in its own, like, it feels indebted to those lineages, but it absolutely is stepping out into its own place.
And she doesn't have, like, You and Me style, like, a little interlude goofy shit.
No, there's no goofy shit to be found.
Yeah.
Also, Lead Me Love is a gorgeous little, like, it's this moment of, like, brevity in this very dark record.
It's a dark album.
Yes.
And like you said, I mean, just like the title track, it's her revealing much about herself, that she finally felt, I'm going to write all the songs, play all the instruments, produce it myself. Yeah, and I give her props for that, because it's why it's one of my favorites of hers. I'd put Suit Yourself at number 4. I think this one's for me a little bit higher than that. This is one of my top 3 of hers.
Okay.
Oh, wait, sorry,
We're number 4.
Suit Yourself first.
Yeah.
than Revelation Rose.
I'm perfectly fine with putting Suit Yourself there. That is not even a question for me. That is like, the thing is that we're at that point now where, especially about Not Dark Yet, Suit Yourself is still a lovely, lived-in, feel-good. I would say feel-good record ultimately at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And the thing, just to jump on that Revelation Road topic, I agree. It is absolutely dark, but in its own weird way. And I mean this truly, and don't misconstrue this when I say it. I don't think it's depressing just because she seems to be at peace with telling the story finally. She invites you in. And the thing is, it's not a melodically cold album. It's not a depressing album so much as it's a real album. You know, like there's a fine line of difference in between her tackling the subject matter too. And again, even when she does even angels fall, when she does that and it repeats that 5 times on the last chorus there, it doesn't feel excessive in its own way. Like it's just like she's still kind of living into that moment as well. Her doing all the instruments herself, I think, was a little bit freeing because it kind of made her focus a little bit in terms of what she wants to say melodically instead of tossing it to the bassist or anything else like that. Like do this, she kind of had a little bit more precision in terms of how she did, which I kind of feel bad because I wanted to see her go back to that again, but I still respect her for what she was able to do with this because I'm sure it was a shit ton of fucking work.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm also very, even although a lot of her music comes from her being very personal and very revealing, a lot of her heartbreak, this one is probably the most of that. I think she really dug deep and thought, how much about myself do I want to talk about? And I think, to your point, I'm made peace with all these things. I'm ready to say some stuff. I'm going to do it this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so I think it's number 4. I think this one for me is, if we get ahead, I think this is my number 3.
Okay.
In the top 3.
Do you feel good about putting it there at number 3?
Yeah, that's where I nominated
Okay,
it.
Which
good, yeah.
I'm having internal angst about this for this reason, because you always want for an artist to grow in their career and get better and better and better, which leaves the last 2 albums on our list is 2 of her older ones, one of which is songs she didn't write.
Yes!
So that to me is such a internal struggle.
But they're also... we have before basically just ranked the albums in reverse chronological order.
Not intentionally,
Right.
just
It's
how
just,
it played out.
it just happened. And
Sorry,
so,
Weezer.
Right.
Or I
And
think we
get
did
it.
that for Decemberists
Yeah.
too. But at least the 2 we have left are over a decade apart.
And with Revelation in particular, this is when I first saw her her perform. And my cool story was, I'll try to keep brief because now we're on a time crunch here. We're trying to keep on track.
Oh, we're good.
Yeah.
We can
great,
go over
great.
that. Yeah.
So everybody remembers people living in Chicago in particular, but it was also the news media, the gigantic snowpocalypse that shut down Lakeshore Drive. It was ice everywhere.
Abandoned cars.
Yes. So Shelby Lynne was in Chicago performing at Evanston in Space, the concert venue. I didn't get tickets, but I was going to have to work that night because I was so pissed I was going to miss her show. Closed my work early, got out. I thought, I'm just going to go to her show. I'm going to find a way to get there. At this time, there were no Ubers or Lyfts, so I had to find a cab to get me there because I didn't want to drive up there. Shocked they were still having the show on because there were literally maybe 20 people in the audience.
Wow.
Because there was this massive fucking snowstorm that was blowing down all of Chicago. So Space has, you can sit in these tables around the stage
or just stand.
And standing room in the back for those of you not been there yet. I had to take it way in the back. Of course, since nobody was there, I was right in the very front. It was me on 2 feet in the stage, looking up, completely enwrapped in what I was witnessing. My first time seeing her perform live, it was her and another gentleman playing guitar for her. Just gorgeous, beautiful performance. Of course, my favorite song of hers, not to get too far ahead, is Dream Some. I just melt into a puddle of goo for Dream Some. So I feel more confident. I just shout to her, play Dream Some, and she looks at me and she winks, and then she played it. And at the end of the show, was to the small applause she got, she was so grateful that people actually came to the show. She thought nobody would come because of the snowstorm. She walked over and handed me her guitar pick.
Yeah.
Which is what I wanted to bring tonight. I forgot to bring and show you guys. So,
oh, man.
And it's a Shelby Lynne and has her name on the guitar.
Oh, that's
I have
amazing.
framed, so it's it's a Revelation Road tour, so to speak. So I have a very deep affection for this album in particular for that reason.
Yeah.
My first time seeing her, so that's my cool story about my first time seeing Shelby of 3 and hopefully many, many more.
Yeah.
So,
oh, that's so good.
Yeah, so moving on here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, now we're down to 1999's I Am Shelby Lynne and 2008's Just a Little Lovin'.
I can't do it. I can't.
You can't do it. I can do it, baby. Because here's the thing.
Oh.
When I reviewed it for Pop Matters, Just a Little Lovin' was one of those rare albums I gave a 9 out of 10. Because here's the thing. When you're covering the Dusty Springfield, songbook, I mean, we just did our Tarantino episode where Son of a Preacher Man is a prominent thing. There's a lot of Dusty Springfield classics on there. And she, aside from the Look of Love, she doesn't necessarily play the big, ones there. She does a lot of, quieter, simple numbers. Honestly, an opening with this very, very drawn out, very, angelic, Just a Little Lovin', Just a Little Lovin'.
I mean, to hear the drumstick rap on the drum frame, like that click sound in that opening of Just a Little Lovin', you melt into that moment with her.
Yeah. The thing is,
and her vocals just wave over you, and you are calm.
And I love how, because again, there were so many covers and songs that I recognized on here that I went back and listened to a bunch of the originals too. And I love, because Dusty Springfield was really part of the era where it was still sort of coming out of that big band Frank Sinatra, everything has a full orchestra on it.
Yeah.
And I just love how this record strips that away but still doesn't lose any of the majesty of it. These songs still absolutely resonate even when it's just her and a guitar. A lot of them do more than that, of course, but it really it speaks to both the strong songwriting of the Dusty Springfield factory,
Backrack and
but also just how fantastic Shelby is as a performer and as an arranger, just to bring these songs to life in an incredible way.
And if you think of anybody who could do justice to Dusty's songs, her vocals, just in general, Shelby just even sounds that kind of airy, breathy singing like Dusty had almost. I think she did the best. I think she was the best person to do this.
You could, but the thing is, it's not an imitation. It's very much exactly
not.
right, and that's I think the biggest thing about it when she does these songs. Because the thing is, Phil Ramone is the producer. Phil Ramone produced some of the later era Frank Sinatra albums. She sang the vocals on Frank Sinatra's microphone. That was one of the things they brought into the studio for this. And the clarity of the production really goes to the fact for someone who doesn't really oversing, her understated vocals are so perfect, but she still finds those points to hit those right notes, those right little warbles to hit in there, where it just is incredible. Even when it's something a little bit more casual, like breakfast in bed, it's not overt, it's not too sexual, it's not any. It's just this very. But casual,
it is still kind of sexual.
It's steamy.
It's definitely
it's seductive.
That's part of what I really like about Just a Little Lovin' and Breakfast in Bed is that the originals were great, but she brings this sultriness to.
Sultry is the word.
To these songs that definitely was not there.
And she very obviously chose not to do Dusty's biggest hit, Son of a Preacher Man.
Yeah.
Which I'd be curious to know why. I'd love to ask her. Maybe she just didn't want to touch it. It's kind of like her.
She said that Dusty owns that song.
Yes, which makes sense to me to hear her say that.
Yes.
And to me also, again, this speaks to all of the wonderful things about Shelby. To me, the best song on this album is the one that she wrote, Pretend.
Pretend, the acoustic one.
That song, if you don't hear that song and feel like your heart's been splayed open, I don't know what kind of human being you are. I mean, to read the lyrics, you're thinking, oh my God, this person is, I will let you abuse me, just say that you love me. I mean, it's an amazing, stellar, just heartbreaking, beautiful song. And it's just near the end, she gets to this whole Dusty catalog, throws in a Shelby song.
Yeah. But you notice that song follows "I Don't Want to Hear It Anymore" too,
Right.
Which is a song that, like, when she's talking about like fights, going on and wanting to hide these things, but the walls are much too thin, and like it's just this very nice end joiner, this note. It's like the album wasn't just recorded with all of the specific things in mind. It's structured in that way too, where there's like she didn't open with "Breakfast in Bed." She puts it as kind of a little bit of a pressure relief, kind of in the middle, just like we're not going to get too dramatic here. Like she goes through the emotions. It is an album that I just live in when I listen to it. Like it's one of the things I understand why you wouldn't want to call it a jazz album, but at the very least there are still jazz overtones to it.
No.
Through.
I completely disagree that it's jazz. I think that there's a lot of like, it feels a lot more like songbook standards.
That's
to me
right. I think jazz is it's a songbook album. I don't think it's jazz. I mean, there are jazz flavors that kind of hit, but I don't think it's a jazz album.
There's not enough like soloing and improvisation and like it maybe is indebted to jazz a little bit, but like there's no like big horn moments. There's no like
okay.
What?
No, I'm just thinking about some of the classic like jazz albums like Bill Evans, when it's just like piano and stand-up bass and drums and just trap like that, like but classic Bach era, classic. It doesn't always have to be like lead-ins of horns or anything like that. Like there's still always those elements that come in, which is why when I hear it, I think about like those great jazz balladeers. I think about those kind of things that come in and just strike me. I'm just saying.
Oh, see, so that's the thing is like when you say like a jazz ballad, like that's not the same thing as saying jazz to me. Do you know does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like a jazz ballad is a ballad is a ballad, and that is a whole different genre, and especially when she is doing those ballads that may have been a little jazzy, now they're like more towards a country ballad because of the style that she's doing in them.
Commenters, sound off. I want you to jump in on here and let us know what you think. I mean, the thing is, it's still an incredible album. It is still for taking someone else's songs and to reinterpret them and put them at a focal point of your worldview and your performance aesthetic. It's striking. It's not my number one album, though, if I am honest with myself. Because I just want to briefly talk about how I Am Shelby Lynne is such a fucking knockout of a record that it has a genre, but it doesn't at the same time, because every song feels like its own flavor, its own dimension, its own thing that it's going into. And it's just so goddamn good. I mean, again, opening with the fucking wall of sound of Your Lies is incredible. But then even to go into just kind of a soul snap of Leavin', and then all of a sudden to go into the rock sounds of Life is Bad. Talking about the Traces of a Room and just, the vocals on there and kind of those raw country guitars. Like, this album, like, straight through is just such a pure enjoyment for me. And even Dream Some, again, had kind of this nice little, like, bossa nova almost rhythm. And then it just, do you miss me? Like, just these beautiful little elements come in. It's just, so many of my favorite songs trace back to here. And I love pretty much every one of these records in some form or another that we've talked about since then. But I also feel like so many of these records, their roots can be found in I'm Shelby Lynne. Not necessarily even in her pre or Epic Records early country days. A lot of what her career became stems from this record.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I would agree, every song on this is some sort of like musical ride for the listener. Thought It Would Be Easier is like this wavy like introduction into Gotta Get Back, which is that super like poppy hook, which was her big radio hit, which got her the Grammy for the whole album. The opening, that big blare of the sound for Your Lies, and then, like I said, Dream Some, which just, again, turns me to goo every time I hear it.
For the one that turns me to goo is honestly Where I'm From, because when she starts doing the French lyrics and then the strings come in, all I'm trying to say, there's like this little like kind of sweet writing that's going on there. I'm just like, oh my god! It just is so goddamn awesome. Even Black Light Blue is just kind of the smoky little like dusty dim light lounge closer of a song. It's just like
what's kind of her like she's packed up and she's walking away and she flicks her cigarette as she leaves the stage. This is what Black Light Blue is. It's like this beautiful like a little dressed down finish of the album. It was this kind of like the circling end of the whole piece.
Completely. And I also feel like Black Light Blue and sort of this album in general, but that song specifically is where I was like, okay, the Dusty Springfield thing makes so much sense because it's absolutely production and everything. It's like a Dusty Springfield ballad. like straight out of it, and then it's interesting because then I feel like on Just a Little Love in the actual covers album, she didn't go quite directly there as often. She didn't remake Dusty. She put her own spin on it. Whereas like this feels a lot more of like a direct homage.
Yeah.
Right.
Anything else
I
to
mean,
say?
you guys said
So,
what I wanted to say about this record. All of my favorites.
Here's where I would rank them, and I will. Oh my god, this is so hard, you guys.
I know.
Just for the pure reasoning that she had more of a hand in I'm Shelby Lynne, I would put the Dusty album number 2. I'm Shelby Lynne number 1.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like that's more her. She had more into the integral parts of the album, where quote unquote it's a covers album is the other ones. Oh man, it's so hard.
I would agree with you. That's what I'm trying to say.
They're heavy rotation, both of them. But I think if you have to rank, there are many reasons besides the vocal, majesty, as you said, of Just Little Lovin', which I think probably is her strongest vocal album.
I would agree with that.
Because she had to be, because that was what she could give to it.
Right.
Yeah. Like her strengths as an interpreter aren't in question, but I love her strengths as a songwriter too, and I feel like I Am Shelby Lynne points to that.
Yes.
So in that case, guys, it's time for the infamous Locked It In segment, brought to you by Tom's, where we get to lock in the albums and say, number 9, Love Shelby. Number 8, I Can't Imagine. Number 7, Tears, Lies, and Alibis. Number 6, Identity Crisis. Number 5, Not Dark Yet. Number 4, Seat Yourself. Number 3, Revelation Road. Number 2, Just Lovin'. And number 1, as always, as we all know, is Merry Christmas from 2010. Incredible, great record. Everyone loves this. Number 1 is I'm Shelby Lynne. But guys, we have so much more to talk about. We need to talk about seeing her live. We need to talk about her change, her early country career. So many other just different weird fun aspects about her life. That's what we are here for. That's what the Happy Hour mini-sode is for right after this. But before we get to there, Nathan, thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
Genuinely.
This has been wonderful.
Yeah.
It's been fun to talk about somebody I love, and I'm so happy to know that she has more fans here in Chicago. I didn't know that you liked her this much, and it's good to know that you do, which and not surprising because you appreciate good music. So,
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I'm going to get that as a tagline for the podcast. Yes. We appreciate good music here, right? And
highly recommend you, and listeners, if you get the chance to see Shelby live, do, even if it's not country. It's country flavored. She's Americana. She's folk. She's blues. She's more singer-songwriter. She's songbook. It's definitely a show worth going. It's an experience. Almost always acoustic. It's just her and her songwriting, her heart, and her singing.
Yeah,
it's quite the thing to do.
And Taran, as always, I wish you nothing but just a little love.
Okay.
Alright guys,
I'm gonna go meet Jesus on the Greyhound.
No! Alright guys, if you could just do us a favor, if you wouldn't mind, obviously follow us on all the different places, Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes. If you leave us a ranking on any of those things, we always appreciate it, and we know who you are because we stalk it obsessively. More importantly though, if you have any questions, please, as always, email us at chartographers@gmail.com, and please keep on listening, because you know there will be. Have a good one, guys. Goodbye!
Hey, this is Kyle Hawk from It's All Dead, a podcast about the music we love and why we love it. Our show is a free-flowing conversation featuring a rotating cast of guests, including musicians, music journalists, and music enthusiasts, sharing how the music is still alive and well. Subscribe on your favorite podcast app, and then come visit us at itsalldead.com.